guys, to Bitcoin 2024 Nashville, the most anticipated Bitcoin conference of the year. It is nearing the end of the day, and we have our last guest, Yves. Yves, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How's it going with you?
Man, it's been incredible. This is my first Bitcoin conference, like real Bitcoin conference. I've met so many amazing people today. I've had a lot of fun talking with all kinds of builders, movers, and shakers in the space. So on that topic of builders, what are you building?
So we're building a layer 1.5 solution called exSat. So it's a docking layer solution. And the idea is that we want to replicate as much as possible the security and the robustness of Bitcoin, but through a hybrid consensus mechanism, also leverage the security, the flexibility, and the scalability of POS. And so that's kind of at our core, that's what we're doing. Really, how that's powered is that by mirroring the UTXO data that's on Bitcoin, basically, through leveraging the same miners, and then they synchronize that data to RAM on our network, and then that data is then being validated by validators who are essentially large custodians that hold a significant amount of Bitcoin, have to stake in the network, and yeah, basically then you're able to push some transactions on Bitcoin and have them trigger a smart contract on the exSat.
So tell me what the significance of this is for normal everyday Bitcoiners.
Awesome. So think of right now, a lot of the layer 2 solutions are having a really hard time indexing the data and being able to make that data available. So most of the L2s are taking, so I guess let's backtrack. A lot of the L2s are now in existence because they want to leverage the functionality, the security, the robustness of Bitcoin, and the liquidity that's there, but they want to give it more use cases. And so that's kind of the premise of this. And we're seeing that trend happen where more L2s are coming about because they want to give basically access to that value that's kind of locked in Bitcoin through either DeFi or NFTs or whatever it may be. And one of the biggest challenges that they have is the data availability. And this is where we come in with a decentralized data availability solution. So right now, most of those L2s, think like ordinals or ruins, they're storing all of that off-chain. And it's kind of a black box. It's extremely expensive to store all that UTXO data, but even more expensive to then make it available so that you can read-write to it in a cost-effective manner. And that's where exSat comes in. So we store all of that data in RAM. RAM is really important, so it's actual RAM, hardware RAM, on a decentralized network. And then that, because it's a multi-layered index solution, you can store all of that, you can index all of that, and you can actually access that data and do something with it. And our approach to this is to keep as close as possible to the consensus on Bitcoin, because I'm kind of a purist when it comes to L2s. I don't think we really have L2s. If your L2 goes down and Bitcoin is not impacted, it's not really an L2. And so as close as possible, what we try to do is then take the same miners that are pushing that are mining blocks on Bitcoin, having them be synchronizers on the network, so that creates that initial bridge. It's the same people that mine the block that actually then push that UTXO data. That's being validated by validators, and then you're able to go off and actually start leveraging the network and do use cases for it. So for a simple user at the end, it just means more decentralization, more transparency with the applications that you're currently trying to leverage that are leveraging Bitcoin.
It's a very interesting idea, and I don't think that I'm smart enough to fully grasp everything that you're talking about. We might have to sit down for a longer conversation on this. But we need people like yourself building products like this because we need to decentralize all things Bitcoin mining. And we need that layer 2 scalability for the use of Bitcoin all over the globe. And so how do you think that your company is providing that layer 2 scalability?
So I think our approach is unique in that we're pushing that UTXO data on chain. And I think that that's really important. So you touched upon decentralization and kind of the transparency. I think that's really important. That's why we have so much value in Bitcoin, is because people trust the network. They trust that that if they've got value in there, that it's actually going to be there. There's going to be no changes to the network. Nobody's going to overtake the network, and that decentralization is key to this. And to be able to replicate kind of those values, but then at the same time try to expand those functions is incredibly difficult. It's really tricky. So tons of projects are taking different approaches, and our approach is just a different one. But fundamentally, how it's different, it's because of the RAM. Being able to store all that UTXO data on chain and have it transparent and queryable where people can actually see it in Block Explorer, it's extremely expensive. And so we're leveraging a Gen 3 Layer 1 blockchain that already has that, and we're writing data to it. So basically that cost is being offset by another network, essentially, that's offering this. So we're using another network for its utility, and then we're creating the bridge between these two, which then opens up the possibilities that currently we don't really have in the space.
So is that storage on RAM on my personal device, or is that on a global network?
Yeah, so global network. So the idea is that RAM is within this network is essentially RWA, so it's a real world asset, so it's got value in that network, it's tradable on that network, but it's deep in. So you can buy RAM, you can consume RAM on this network, think of like writing data to decentralized storage. But why RAM versus, let's say, IPFS, traditional standard a storage solution, is because you can query it and much quicker. So the latency in which you can push transactions and hear back, or at least leverage the information, is much shorter than you could with traditional storage. And so that's our approach. It's to leverage the RAM from within another network that's already decentralized, that already has a market cap, and to basically build that bridge in between. Yeah.
So how long have you guys been around, and what do you see the future for you guys?
So I've been in this space since 2010. I started mining Bitcoin on my laptop when it was actually possible.
OG over here, OG.
And but then I got out of this space, and I kind of came back into the space. I got it out of this space when it was apparent that with a laptop you'd no longer be able to mine. And miners were not existing yet. The idea was that miners were going to be coming, so you'd have dedicated miners. This was going to centralize a lot of the hashing power. It would price out a lot of people, where just a regular guy like me would not be able to do it unless we joined a larger pool, etc. So I kind of dropped out of it at that time, and I came back full time 2017-ish, 2018. When there was the third wave of kind of new layered Gen 3 blockchains coming about. And then this particular project has now been in the works for about 7 months, but the fundamentals of this project have been in the works for about 6 years. And so the engineers have been working on this for a very long time to get to the point where we are today. And what's great is that the Bitcoin space is also here now. So we're starting to see a shift where a lot of people were building on Ethereum, leveraging EVM, and leveraging kind of the developers there and everything that's there. We're starting to see that shift come back to Bitcoin, where people want to unlock that value. They want to do something with their Bitcoin, and so that's driving innovation. And so it's just perfect timing. It's great, and it's paired with obviously the fourth halving coming, so everything becoming more difficult as well for miners. So miners are looking for different ways to be able to subsidize and to generate a little bit more revenue. You've got validators as well. Like, everybody's trying to pool more hash power as people capitulate, and so we're trying to place ourselves right in there and offering another solution for people to be able to add on to their bottom line.
Well, you've come to the perfect place to find those people to partner with and to get your product out there. Bitcoin 2024 is the place to be. Obviously, there's movers and shakers all over the place, and so I hope that you're able to get this project going and really do something special with it, do something important. So tell us, what are you most excited about here in Nashville, and where can the people find you?
So we just launched our testnet a couple of days ago, and we do have a bunch of partners. So in terms of mining pools, our goal is to hit 51% hash rate or more. That's synchronizing blocks. We're currently in the 30% or so. We've got AMP pool, F2 pool, Spider pool as part of the kind of the large ones. We're looking for more Western partners now. In terms of other validators, we just announced one with a hash key yesterday, and we've got a few more. We've got Everstake blocks, etc. So more announcements to make over the course of the week. And you can reach me with Big Beard Samurai. So Twitter, Big Beard Samurai, or on X, Big Beard Samurai.
Super easy to
Telegram
follow.
as well. And then our website, exSat.network, where you can find our white paper, and you can see kind of what's going on with the testnet, etc. And yeah, Nashville is awesome. You've got congregation, a bunch of people trying to expand this space, scale this space, and that's what it's all about. There's an asset here, and there's value, and just want to help grow this space.
100%, dude. Well, thank you so much for being here, Yves. We appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Nashville experience.
Awesome, man. Cheers.